Hi and welcome back to Saturday. Going straight into it, we've been talking a lot about characterization in this section, especially characterization of Ron and Harry, and about the difference between the two, and I think that's good because this is where you really start to see what's within each of them. Where Ron is concerned, you can see that he's actually pretty insecure as a person, especially from the way that he reacts to Hermione and from the things that he sees in the mirror. He's someone who wants a lot of glory for himself. He wants to be able to stand out, which he's never really had the opportunity to do. I don't really like Ron a lot of the time. He kind of drives me crazy, which makes sense because I'm very similar to Hermione, and he also drives her crazy. So that kind of works. Where Harry is concerned, though, we're kind of seeing for the first time his hero complex, which he definitely has. It's phrased later on in the series that Harry likes to play the hero, and that's very true. I'm going to compare myself to Harry here for a minute. With the Remembrall, for example, I would have been the kid who sat in the back and maybe shot Malfoy a couple dirty looks while this was happening. I wouldn't have chased him around on a broomstick. With the Troll, I probably would have told a teacher that Hermione was missing. And even at the end with Fang, when Harry starts to wonder what Fang could be guarding, I wouldn't have cared at all. I would have just assumed that someone else would take care of it if it needed taken care of. But Harry feels this need to deal with himself. He feels this perpetual need to be the one to fix things. And you'll see that very heavily throughout the rest of the series. Really quickly, I just want to go on the record and say, hey look, it's Halloween and something bad happened. Amazing! My favorite line from this section is a quote from McGonagall, and she says, your father would have been proud, she said. He was an excellent Quidditch player himself. I like this because this is the beginning of the comparisons between Harry and James, which is very prevalent through a lot of this series. Harry is constantly compared to James, and in this way it's meant as a compliment. It's not always meant as a compliment, especially where Snape is concerned. But those comparisons kind of tie into the theme of people choosing their own paths and not necessarily being defined by where they came from, by their roots, by their parents. So this is the beginning of touching on that. I also like it because you will notice that McGonagall does not say that James was a seeker, because he wasn't. He was a chaser, and that's just me being irritated with an inconsistency from the movies. And Nathaniel brought up the idea of wandless magic in this scene because it seems like Snape is just jinxing the broom by muttering under his breath, and it doesn't seem consistent with the rest of magic. But I just like to say it is possible to do wandless magic simply because kids can do wandless magic because they don't have wands. So when they're not properly trained and don't have a vessel to kind of channel their magic through, they can certainly do it without magic. It's not generally controlled the way that it would be with a jinx, but it is possible. This does happen another time in the series. I think it's in Goblet of Fire, but don't quote me on that. There's one point where Harry is looking for his wand, it's on the ground and it's dark outside and he can't find it, and he says Lumos and his wand lights, even though he's not touching it at the time. But that's the only other time I can think that it happens. My only other idea in this stands is that possibly the person jinxing the broom had their wand and was just pointing it at Harry very discreetly under their robes or something like that, but I don't know. I have a quick note on flying on broomsticks. Obviously this is an idea that's very common in folklore through a lot of different cultures. Witches flying on broomsticks is very normal. However, males flying on broomsticks is pretty rare in folklore. Warlocks and the like would usually be depicted as flying on pitchforks. Now I have an update on Sean's deepest desire of his heart that he saw in the mirror. He has received his Pottermore email, he's gotten in, he has been sorted, as predicted, into Slytherin, just like Amanda. Amanda, who recently gave an impassioned defense of Hufflepuff in which she singled out those mean Slytherins. So I'm going to take a minute now to share with you a reenactment of the conversation in which Amanda told me that she had been sorted into Slytherin and my subsequent reaction. Hello? Hi, it's Amanda. I got sorted. And? Which house? Slytherin? And that's how I feel about that. Also, it helps me to laugh so that I don't cry over the fact that I remain Pottermoreless. Speaking of the mirror itself, it's actually not a completely original concept. There are reports from a German scholar from the 15th century named Johannes Hartlieb. I have no idea if that pronunciation is correct, but he reported that seers in that time, medieval seers, would create mirrors that would show a man's desires. So it's just yet another example of J.K. Rowling taking an element from actual folklore, from actual history, and reinterpreting it into her own story and making it applicable, which I always love. Last, I want to answer Nathaniel's question about the mirror, the inscription on the mirror. It says, Erised Stra Ehru, oit ube kafru oiton wosi. I can't tell you if I pronounced that right because it's not a language. It doesn't have a correct pronunciation. If you reverse the letters, it says, I show not your face, but your heart's desire. Have a good week.